There's a profound satisfaction that comes from rescuing old wood destined for the landfill and giving it new purpose as beautiful, functional furniture. Each piece of reclaimed lumber carries the marks of its previous life: the circular saw scars from an old mill, the square nail holes from a 19th century barn, the subtle curves worn by generations of hands brushing against a staircase railing. When you work with reclaimed wood, you're not just building furniture. You're preserving history while creating something entirely new. The hunt for materials is where every reclaimed wood project begins, and it's an adventure in itself. Barnwood remains the gold standard, with its beautiful gray patina developed over decades of exposure to sun and rain. When examining potential barn wood, look for those distinctive square nail holes that indicate genuine age. Round holes suggest more modern materials. The wood surface should feel rough, but not punky or rotten. Industrial salvage offers another treasure trove. Factory floor joists often have dramatic wear patterns from years of foot traffic, while old warehouse beams might bear faded stencils from their industrial past. Pallet wood can be surprisingly beautiful if you know what to look for. Seek out those marked with HT for heat treated. Avoid anything marked MB for methyl bromide treatment. Architectural salvage provides some of the most character-rich materials. An old church pew becomes a bench, weathered shutters transform into cabinet doors, and discarded stair balusters make perfect table legs. Preparing reclaimed wood requires patience and the right approach. Start by carefully removing all nails and hardware. A metal detector is invaluable here. Resist the urge to over-sanitize the wood. Those saw marks, stains, and imperfections are what give it character. A light cleaning with a stiff brush and mild soap removes decades of dust without stripping away the patina. For heavily weathered wood, consider using a pressure washer on a low setting, but be prepared for the dramatic transformation this causes. When milling reclaimed wood, wear proper respiratory protection. You never know what might be in those old sawdust particles. The milling process itself requires special care. Warped boards often need to be stabilized with biscuits or dowels before they can be worked, and checking for hidden cracks or weaknesses is crucial. One of the most rewarding first projects is a simple reclaimed wood coffee table. Start with 4 particularly character-rich boards for the top, perhaps some with obvious nail holes or saw marks you want to feature. The beauty of reclaimed wood is that you don't need perfect edges. Leave them rough or hand plane them for a slightly more refined but still organic look. For the base, consider using metal hairpin legs for a modern contrast, or go full rustic with legs made from salvaged 4x4 posts. The construction can be as simple as attaching the top boards to perpendicular supports using figure-8 fasteners that allow for wood movement. Finish with a clear matte sealant that protects without making the wood look plastic-coated. Bookshelves offer another fantastic opportunity to showcase reclaimed wood's character. Old floor joists with their rounded edges make perfect shelves, while salvaged newel posts from staircases become striking bookends. For a truly unique piece, use an old wooden ladder as the framework, attaching shelves between the rungs. The back panel presents a chance to get creative. Try using weathered shiplap from a demolished farmhouse, or even old license plates for a pop of color. When assembling, embrace the wood's imperfections. That slightly twisted board will add wonderful visual interest once installed. Dining tables represent the pinnacle of reclaimed wood furniture projects. Wide barn with planks joined together create a surface that tells a story with every meal. The key here is proper preparation. The wood must be properly dried and stabilized to prevent warping. Breadboard ends made from more stable reclaimed beams help keep everything flat while showcasing beautiful end grain. For the base, nothing beats the look of salvaged industrial steel combined with wood. Old factory cart bases or repurposed machine stands add incredible character. When finishing a dining table, durability is key. Multiple coats of a hard-wearing oil-based polyurethane will protect the surface while still allowing the wood's history to shine through. Reclaimed wood isn't just for large furniture pieces. Smaller projects can be equally rewarding. Picture frames made from old window casings preserve the original paint drips and glazing marks. Wine racks crafted from salvaged wood molding gain elegance from their aged patina. Even simple wall hooks made from branches and scrap would become functional art when thoughtfully arranged. One of my favorite small projects is turning an old wooden toolbox into a wall-mounted bathroom cabinet. The original dividers become perfect shelves for toiletries. The tools needed for reclaimed wood projects are surprisingly basic. Beyond safety gear like gloves and goggles, you'll want a quality circular saw for rough cuts, a miter saw for angles, and a drill/driver for assembly. A planer helps tame the wildest boards, while an orbital sander with coarse grits, 40 to 80, quickly removes grime without oversmoothing. For joinery, nothing beats the rustic charm of visible mortise and tenon joints or dovetails, though pocket screws offer a quicker alternative that still looks appropriate. Clamps are your best friend when working with wood that may not be perfectly straight. You can never have too many. Finishing reclaimed wood requires a delicate touch. The goal is to protect and enhance, not obscure. For pieces that will see heavy use, a wipe-on polyurethane provides durability while maintaining a natural look. Pure tung oil brings out incredible depth in the grain, but requires more maintenance. For a weathered gray look without the splinters, try a whitewash treatment that allows the wood's texture to show through. The most dramatic finishes involve careful use of a wire brush to remove soft grain between the growth rings, followed by a dark stain that pools in the grooves. One often overlooked aspect of reclaimed wood is its structural considerations. Old-growth timber is typically denser and more stable than new wood, but years of stress may have created weak points. Always inspect for cracks running perpendicular to the grain, which can indicate serious weakness. When joining pieces, account for the fact that reclaimed wood may not have uniform thickness. Shims or creative joinery can solve this. For tabletops, alternating the end grain direction when joining boards helps prevent warping. The environmental impact of using reclaimed wood is significant. Every board repurposed means one less tree cut down and less material in landfills. Old-growth wood is particularly valuable as it often comes from trees that grew slowly in dense forests, producing tighter grain patterns impossible to find in today's fast-grown timber. There's also the embodied energy to consider. That 100-year-old beam has already paid its carbon debt from processing and transport long ago. Beyond the practical benefits, working with reclaimed wood connects us to history in a tangible way. That dining table made from barn wood once sheltered livestock through harsh winters. The bookshelf crafted from factory beams supported workers during the Industrial Revolution. The coffee table made from gymnasium flooring witnessed generations of schoolchildren at play. These stories become part of your home's narrative, creating furniture with meaning beyond its function. As you gain experience with reclaimed wood, you'll develop an eye for seeing potential where others see junk. That pile of broken fence pickets becomes material for a rustic mirror frame. The discarded church pew transforms into an entryway bench. Even small scraps find new life as candle holders or picture frames. The imperfections that would disqualify new would become celebrated features. The nail hole that becomes a design element. The stain that adds character. The warp that creates visual interest. Perhaps the greatest lesson reclaimed wood teaches is patience. Unlike working with pristine new lumber, you can't force old wood to conform to exact measurements. You have to work with its quirks, adapting your design to accommodate its history. This flexibility leads to more creative solutions and, ultimately, more interesting pieces. That board with the dramatic crack running through it might need butterfly joints to stabilize it, but those joints then become a striking design feature. The community surrounding reclaimed wood is another reward, from the demolition crews who alert you to interesting finds, to the fellow woodworkers who trade tips on working with difficult pieces, to the clients who appreciate the story behind your creations. These connections enrich the creative process. Sharing before and after photos of your transformations inspires others to see potential in discarded materials. Safety remains paramount when working with reclaimed materials. Beyond the obvious concerns of rusty nails and splinters, be aware that old wood might have been treated with now banned chemicals. Lead paint testing is essential for any painted pieces, and proper dust collection protects your lungs from potentially harmful particles. When in doubt about a piece's origins, err on the side of caution. The future of reclaimed wood furniture looks bright as more people appreciate its sustainable and aesthetic value. Architects are incorporating salvaged timbers into high-end homes, while DIYers continue to find innovative ways to repurpose materials. New techniques like epoxy stabilization allow even severely damaged wood to find new life as stunning furniture. Ultimately, working with reclaimed wood satisfies something deep in the human spirit: the desire to preserve, to create, to find beauty in the imperfect. Each project becomes a collaboration across time, joining the hands that first shaped the wood with your own. The resulting pieces carry this history forward, destined to accumulate more stories in their new lives as functional art. When you sit at a table made from century-old beams or open a cabinet crafted from barn siding, you're participating in a tradition far older than disposable furniture. The tradition of making things to last, of honoring materials, of creating with care. This connection to the past, while building for the future, is what makes reclaimed wood furniture so special. The wood has already stood the test of time. Now it's your turn to shape its next chapter. So next time you pass a demolition site or see a pile of old pallets, look closer. That weathered wood isn't trash, it's potential. It's history waiting to be preserved. It's your next great project calling your name. All it needs is your vision, your effort, and your respect for its past to transform into something beautiful that will last for generations to come. The stories are there in the grain. You just have to set them free.